in a nutshell, because like I said, there's so much to really ask yourself and the people that are around you, because it's going to take, like I said, justice can't be just us anymore. It can't, it's going to take all of us, to
Right.
do that, to really, and we need you all's help, people that are not black and brown, to
Right.
realize that this is, we're all in this at the end of the day. If you think it's not going to come to your doorstep, you're sadly you're mistaken.
Right.
At some point, some way, form, or fashion, we're all feeling this, because it's about humanity, and I think that's why it's resonating with. So they saw a man. Yes, he was black, but it was blatant, it was violent, and there was so much. He had so much confidence. You know what I mean? Like nothing was going to happen to me.
Right.
I was talking to my pops, and he was like, "Look, this reminds me of this whole military-controlled state, which is what the president wants." His days back in Mississippi, or when he was visiting Mississippi, he's from Georgia, and he's like, they wanted to control. It was like something. It was like the army was basically controlling the state, and what it is, white men and women were an extension of that. And that's what we saw in Brunswick, Georgia, where these guys felt like they can, I got a right. I'm going to shoot him down. Nothing's going to happen. I have the law on my side. It's what happened in New York. The white lady with just like,
With the cell phone.
she knew, she was going to weaponize the police. She knows, I'm going to tell them that you're an African American man. Because I know, she knew what that meant. So
She
they're
totally
an
knew what that
extension
meant.
of, the whole system. So when we say systematic,
Right.
and these things that we're the same as you. You can do exactly what, pull yourself up by your boots, so we don't have boots. There's been a long, it's like
Right.
the race has started like years ago, and we're trying to catch up. So I mean, there's so many things that so many ways that we're so behind. And yes, and all we're saying is just make it equal so we can get our own. Just kind of like with James Brown saying, nobody give me nothing, open the door, I'll get it myself.
Right.
That kind of vibe. So
Right.
same thing, but we have to be on equal playing field, and they're playing games. This man knows how to play this game very well. He's been playing checkers, and we've been playing checkers.
Forever.
They've been playing
Yep.
chess. So we're
Right.
catching up, and we're uncovering to the world everything that's been happening. So now, white brothers and sisters are seeing it. Saying what we've been saying all these years, and some of them know it, but just haven't wanted to deal with it. And it's hard work. It is. I would
Yeah.
say for you, it will be hard work. It'll be uncomfortable.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying flipping the switch. You'd be like, there's going to be a lot of people who take this moment, and they're going to be like, well, yeah, I'm here now, but you just kind of trail off. But we
Right.
don't have that luxury.
No.
So again, I say, just maybe ask yourself the question when you're in certain situations: what can I do, or just, how can I make this moment better when I'm with my people?
You're right.
I don't know, but there's so much, man. But it's
You know
yeah.
what is crazy for me, because being a white guy, I'm not making excuses for anybody here, but because we are not you, sometimes we don't know what you go through because it doesn't happen to us.
Of course.
And I think you and I had this
Of course.
conversation, and now it's like, so the blinders have been on for so
Right.
long
Right.
that the blinders are off now, and now
Yeah.
it's like, what you
Yeah.
gonna do?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Now, what are you going to do with this information?
Right.
Speaking of information, unfortunately, at my alma mater, they did not necessarily teach about Black Wall Street. They did not teach about redlining. They did not teach about Rosewood.
Yeah.
These are things that
Right.
we don't know about
Yeah.
because we weren't taught that. That's
Yeah.
not in the schools, and that's because that the people who are in power making the choices for education did not include that
Purposely.
in those books.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
deep. It's
It's
deep.
deep.
It's deep.
Yeah.
And if we hopefully have an opportunity here after things, we get through and get justice, and convict all four, I believe that we have an opportunity, and I hope the world sees it that way. Is
Absolutely.
to do something and make a
Yeah.
change and make it better and make it last longer than a news cycle.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And,
man.
and it can't end, because the thing is, look how long it took us to get into this. This is not going to be over tomorrow. we're not going to live to see what, you know what I mean? But we have to start making like overwhelmingly these sweeping changes. Not, I mean, we can do only so much at the local level, and I think that's one takeaway I think that we're seeing now. It's not just about the national, like voting for the president every 4 years. It's like
Right.
these people who are, locally that we're putting in power,
The
who are choosing, the
prosecutors.
police
Yeah.
unions and all the. I mean, we got to really.
Yep.
It's a lot. These things are really going to be key. I think that's the thing I take away now. It's like everybody's really focused in on that. It's not just every 4 years. So, yeah, man, there's so many things that have been, like I said, those are the systematic things that we haven't, that they've suppressed for so long. So that
Yeah.
helps to suppress a new kind of narrative, a new kind of perspective. And then
Right.
what happens, we are programmed, just like that's what television is, to see it was intentional. How you see, for instance, one of the most segregated things, of course, is like television. They have specific types. I need someone who is loud talking. I need a loud talking black woman, wagging her finger and you just mean and, the angry black woman. Things, so all these stereotypical things. I need a thug, pimp, kind of, you know what I mean? All these things. So these images are so powerful. So
Yeah.
powerful.
Our
You know what I
kids
mean?
see that.
Yeah, and these things have been, just people clutching their purse because they've seen a TV show. These things become real for people. So over decades and generations, this thing gets into the psyche. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
Yeah.
it's, of course, like when you're younger, someone says, I was reading something there saying that down south, kids who were part of, like a lynching, it was like entertainment. So someone said, well, are you going to blame the kid? Because they didn't know. They've been brought to this. Well, no, but what happens is that will penetrate the psyche of that child. Seeing that,
Right.
that image is
Right.
powerful. So
yeah.
that right there is going to do something to you. Like this kid who actually recorded the actual thing of in Minneapolis, said that she is getting bullied just because they're like, man, well, why didn't you do something? What do you want her to do?
There was nothing she could do. She would have been shot or whatever, too.
I mean,
What
they
are the
heard the
possibilities?
jujitsu expert saying, look, man, that's a jujitsu move I do. As a martial artist, he's not even in it. You know what I mean? But I understand. There was
Yep.
rage. There was,
Yep.
excitement in the moment. It was people are emotional, so you're not thinking. These people making these comments, they wouldn't know what to do either. You know what I mean? It's just, what can you do?
Well, thank God she did record it.
Thank God, because I mean,
Thank
this is,
God she recorded that.
and I don't know whether it's because of COVID, we're all hunkered down, and it just made it even just that much more dynamic, because we're all focused in on this thing like never before. And the
Ooh.
difference is, social media, thank God, this is where it really works to our advantage, everyone's advantage.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's we have a long way to go. So even on a good day, if we start seeing some laws and policies that are changed,
Right.
what happens is there's still the people. There are people, anybody who's 70, 75 and not brown, black and brown, are going to have a certain mindset. It's just going to be there, just because
True.
it's. How is it not there? You know what I mean? This is
Try changing your parents' attitude.
Yeah, I'm right. That's
Yeah.
there. That's
Mom,
there.
stop thinking like that.
Absolutely, that's there.
Yeah.
So, as far as the future, that's where the real justice. So you're not going to find a lot of justice for the people who are dead, because they're not here.
Yeah.
It's for
Right,
the forthcoming in the future, I think.
It's for your kids,
yeah,
for my kids.
Absolutely.
You know what really messed me up, man? And I want to share this.
yeah,
When you and I were talking, that you said your father in the early 70s had to have the talk with you.
oh yeah,
And I'm talking about the talk that says, look, things aren't as rosy as they seem. You can't go do this. You can't do this. You can't, all the can'ts. The talk that my mom and dad never had to have with me.
right.
The fact that you now have to have that talk with your children, that
Yeah.
messes me up so bad.
It's yeah,
That perpetuates. And maybe your kids, God willing, won't have to have that talk with their kids.
I hope
that's the goal.
I hope it's not the same talk. I hope it's. I mean, if it is, then it'll be just a little bit better. I'm hoping.
Can only hope.
You know.
Can only hope.
But I know we got a long ways to go, and it is unfortunate, man. But because I've had to sit down and say, "Hey, look, man." And the thing is, what's even worse is they've come to me with certain little things that they see already. Where I haven't even, this was when they were much younger. I'm like, God, and I've tried to protect. Only as much as the innocence. I'm like, let me just let them have this before I lay all this shit on them.
Right.
I
don't
so they can
blame
get
you.
killed. You know what I mean? I'm like, let me just let them before because it's what they're coming into. I feel bad.
Yep.
Because here's the harsh reality: life ain't fair.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
And your journey is going to be different. You can't do the same thing as your white friends do. You can do it up to a point.
Right.
But they can do certain things alone that you can't. You got to move differently. Your tentacles always have to be up. It's just it's tiring.
It's wrong,
man.
is what it is.
It's tiring. I mean, just to always have that energy. That's why we need so much. Like, have somewhere to decompress and go to to meditate. I mean,
Yeah.
That's why I maybe think we're so musical. We need these outlets, man, because otherwise it's just
Totally.
like beating yourself against a wall.